So on November 23rd, Avi Loeb released new information about 3I Atlas, and we are now officially discovering the 13th anomaly. And honestly, I think this is the weirdest one yet because this one is about mathematical precision that's seemingly physically impossible for a natural comet. So right now, 3I Atlas is heading toward Jupiter, and it is going to make its closest approach on March 16th, 2026. That is less than 4 months away. Astronomers have been tracking this object using data from over 230 observatories feeding into NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory system. And based on that data, 3I Atlas will pass Jupiter by about 33 million miles. Now, Jupiter has what scientists call a Hill radius. Think of it like Jupiter's invisible force field. Inside this boundary, Jupiter's gravity is strong enough to capture objects and hold them in orbit. But outside this boundary, the sun's gravity is too powerful and rips everything away. This Hill radius is not random. It is calculated using very precise physics based on Jupiter's mass, the sun's mass, and the exact distance between them at any given moment. So, NASA scientists calculated that on March 16th, 3I Atlas will pass Jupiter at 33.21 million miles. Now, Avi Loeb calculated that Jupiter's Hill radius for March 16th will be 33.24 million miles. So the difference is only 35,000 miles out of 33 million. To put this in perspective, imagine throwing a dart at a dartboard from across an entire football field while blindfolded and hitting within 0.1% of the bullseye. That would still be less impressive than what we're seeing here. The statistical probability of this happening randomly is 0.004%, or to put it another way, this should happen once every 26,000 times. But here's where this goes from weird to absolutely insane. Remember how 3I Atlas has been showing non-gravitational acceleration? This means the object is not just following gravity, but something else is pushing it and changing its path. Now, scientists measured this acceleration at 5 times 10 to the negative 7th astronomical units per day squared. What that means in simple terms is this: the object has been speeding up or changing direction in ways that cannot be explained by the sun's gravity, Jupiter's gravity, or any other planet's gravity. So that non-gravitational acceleration changed 3I Atlas's trajectory by about 62,000 miles. That is exactly the amount needed to bring the object from where it was naturally heading straight to Jupiter's Hill radius. So why does the Hill radius matter so much? Well, because sitting right at the Hill radius are special points called Lagrange points. These are the sweet spots in space where gravitational forces balance out almost perfectly. If you want to park a satellite somewhere and use the absolute minimum fuel to keep it there, Lagrange points are where you put it. We actually use these points all the time. The James Webb Space Telescope sits at a Lagrange point between Earth and the Sun. It is the perfect parking spot because the telescope stays stable with almost no fuel needed. Now think about what this means. 3I Atlas is arriving at exactly the distance where you would want to release satellites around Jupiter if you were trying to use the least amount of energy. And it got there after showing signs of a course correction that brought it to exactly this spot. So naturally, the question our dear scientists are debating right now is, what could cause this? Let me walk you through the 4 potential explanations as of right now. The first possibility is that our astronomical calculations are off somehow. The trajectory might end up being different when we get better measurements. Maybe there is some gravitational effect from Jupiter or another planet that we are not accounting for properly. But NASA's JPL Horizons system has been tracking this object for months using data from hundreds of observatories. The trajectory calculations are supposedly extremely precise. We have a margin of error of about 61,000 miles, which means even with uncertainty, the Hill radius match still holds. The second possibility is that natural comet outgassing created jets that pushed 3I Atlas in exactly the right direction to hit the Hill radius. As we said earlier, the object showed non-gravitational acceleration near the sun. So maybe those jets happened to fire in just the right pattern to create this precise trajectory adjustment. The problem with this explanation is that natural outgassing is chaotic and random. It depends on where ice pockets are, how the comet is rotating, which side faces the sun. Getting a 62,000-mile course correction in exactly the right direction to hit such a seemingly specific target would require the jets to fire with incredible precision. The third possibility that 70% of scientists agree with is that this is just a pure coincidence. Objects traveling through space follow trajectories based on their velocity and the gravity of everything around them. With enough interstellar objects passing through our solar system over billions of years, eventually, one of them is bound to hit a statistically unlikely target. But of course, Harvard scientist Avi Loeb counters this by noting that we have only detected 3 interstellar objects ever. And the third one hitting a 1 in 26,000 probability is like winning the lottery on your third ticket. Possible? Yes. Likely? Not really. And then, of course, there's Avi Loeb's explanation, which is that this object has some form of propulsion system that deliberately adjusted its course to target Jupiter's hill radius, maybe to deploy devices, maybe to use Jupiter for a gravity assist maneuver, maybe for some other reason we do not understand. The problem is we have zero direct evidence of technology, no radio signals, no unusual heat signatures, no visible propulsion systems, just the statistical coincidence and the measured acceleration. And as scientists always say, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Here's what makes this genuinely fascinating regardless of which explanation turns out to be correct. If this is pure coincidence, we just witnessed one of the most statistically improbable events in astronomical history. That alone is remarkable. If this is natural outgassing that happened to produce this result, then we are seeing comet physics we have never observed before. That would revolutionize our understanding of how interstellar objects behave. If we are calculating something wrong, fixing that error would improve our ability to predict trajectories for all future interstellar visitors. And if there is any technological component, well, that changes everything we know about our place in the universe. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Is it coincidence? Is it exotic comet physics we have never seen? Is it a calculation error? Or is it something else entirely? In the next few weeks, we'll get plenty more data, and that data will probably help us figure out which of these explanations actually fits what we are observing.